All right, we're getting in some breaking news right now. 2 weeks after 8 former Indian Navy personnel arrested in were sentenced to death after being arrested in an alleged case of espionage, the Ministry of External Affairs has said that an appeal has been filed in the case. So the MEA says that India is exploring all the legal options right now. Remember, just a few days back, that there was, of course, a lot of debate and discussion over this. This was just last year, remember, that 8 of these Navy personnel, and it includes decorated officers of the Navy, remember, they had been arrested. And there were no details given to the family of these personnel also. Now, just a few days back, we saw that they were sentenced to death. All 8 of them were sentenced to death. And after that, what we understand is that MEA took action. It says that they got the consular access on the 7th. And now they are making appeal. They have filed an appeal against the death sentence in Qatar's court. So they are considering all the legal options. Let's take a listen in fact, to the reaction that have come in on that.
Earlier, the Court of First Instance of Qatar passed a judgment on October 26 in the case involving 8 Indian employees of Al Dara Company. The judgment is confidential and has only been shared with the legal team. They are now pursuing further legal steps, and I think an appeal has already been filed. We will also remain engaged with the Qatari authorities in this matter. On November 7, we received, our embassy in Doha received another consular access to the detainees. We are in touch with their family members too. And as you recall, the External Affairs Minister met the family members earlier this month in New Delhi. We will continue to extend all legal and consular support, and I would urge everyone not to engage in speculation considering the sensitive nature of the case.
So that was the Ministry of External Affairs. India has challenged the death penalty given to the 8 Navy veterans. It includes a sailor and also 7 decorated officers of the Indian Navy. They were working at a consultancy there that was responsible for giving military training, defense training. And now what we know is that after they were sentenced to death, the MEA, the Ministry of External Affairs, has said that it will continue to extend all the legal and consular support to the Navy personnel. Remember, just last year, it was 8 of them. These are retired Indian Navy personnel working for a defense services provider company in Qatar who were taken into custody by the authorities. And there was no specific reason, there was no clarity in the reason why. There were just murmurs of murmurs about that they were involved in espionage for Israel, and there were a lot of angles that have been uncovered so far and so forth. But right now, what we know is that consular access has been received, and India is considering all legal options. So the MEA says it will continue to. Major General G.D. Bakshi has joined us on the phone line for more. Major General G.D. Bakshi, we understand that there should be some relief. We do not know yet what's in store, but finally we have got the consular access, and the MEA in a statement says that they have filed a complaint against the death sentence and they are fighting the case legally in Qatar. How do you react to this, sir?
Legally, their options are threefold. There is this criminal court, then there is the Court of Appeal, and finally there is the equivalent of their Supreme Court. So we have the option now to pursue it up the levels of these 3 courts. We have already filed the appeal in the next court, the Court of Appeal, and hopefully they should work. But what is quite disturbing is that they are not even prepared to share what is the charge. They are not prepared to share the case material, the case judgment in the open domain, and it's all being kept very hush-hush, very secretive. This is not the way trials are done in most civilized countries. Even if it is a case of alleged so far we don't know what the damn charge is. Even if it is a case of alleged espionage, at least the people have a right to know. The defendants, their families have a right to know. The legal teams must be able to share this with the rest of the world, so that justice is not just done but seem to be done, which is a very important facet in jurisprudence and law. Not only must justice be done, it must seem to be done. And that seeming to be done aspect is very badly vitiated. If you're not even prepared to put the charge in the public domain, if you're not even prepared to put the judgment of the trial court in the public domain, that is very, very counterproductive. But in any case, if we wish to go by the legal route, this is the way that we will have to travel. But at the same time, I think the time has come for us to raise the level. The Prime Minister has a tremendous amount of standing and stature and influence in the Middle Eastern nations. And I think it's about time that 14 months we have been going through our, the Ministry of External Affairs and our embassy, etc. But at the end of it, we got a rude shock when after 14 months, when we were being told, oh yes, now we have improved the situation from solitary confinement. They have been brought to common jails or common cells, etc. And then suddenly we got the shock of our lives when we were told that they are going to be executed. So I don't think the lives of Indian citizens, and especially people who have served the country, naval officers, 3 captains, 4 commanders, 1 naval sailor, even if it is a charge of espionage, do you need 8 people to steal 1 file or to pass on the contents of 1 file? There is something that doesn't quite gel. And the level of transparency must perforce be increased. Must perforce be increased if there is to be conviction about the due process of law. And I don't think we, beyond a point, can just suffer this in silence and, crawl before a state called Qatar, which is now acting as if it can kick India around. I don't think that is a very right message to send.
Absolutely. India, of course, in its all power, should exercise the influence, as Major General G.D. Bakshi was pointing out. But thanks so much, Major General G.D. Bakshi.